Welcome to a meeting of your Manatee County Board of County Commissioners. Representing District 1, Carol Ann Feltz. Representing District 2, Amanda Ballard. Representing District 3, Tal Sadiq. Representing District 4, Mike Ron. Representing District 5, Dr. Bob McCann. Representing District 6 at-large, Jason Bearden. Representing District 7 at-large, George Cruz. The County Administrator is Charlie Bishop. Time is set aside at the beginning of each meeting for citizens to speak on any issue. Citizens are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. Today's meeting is brought to you with closed captioning.
All right, good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, October 9th, and this is a land use meeting for the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County. We will get to it after we start, as we do all things, with an invocation and the pledge. Today's invocation will be led by Pastor Wayne Lanier from Bayside Community Church, second time this week with a Bayside Community Church pastor. And our pledge will be led by Commissioner Mike Ron. Please rise if you're able.
Let's pray. Father, today we thank you for this gathering of our county leaders. We ask that you would give us wisdom, insight, and clarity today. Father, we pray for the people of our county that you would continue to bless us richly. We give you thanks for all that you've done and all that you're doing. In the matchless name of Jesus our Lord, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ms. Knapp, are there any updates to the agenda?
Good morning, Commissioners. There is one. Agenda item number 4 regarding 5th Street. There's an ordinance entered into the record that had a typo change that was made after the update online late yesterday. This concludes the changes.
All right, thank you. I will now open this up to, well, I'll start off with this. There's one item on consent. Was anyone going to pull this denial application off of consent? Seeing none, I will open up public comment on the single item on consent. Seeing none, I will close consent, and I will entertain motions to approve the consent.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner McCann, seconded by Commissioner Ballard to approve consent. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That is approved unanimously. I will now open up citizen comments for future agenda items, items that do not appear on today's agenda. I have nobody signed up, and I don't even think anyone in the room. Anyone? Nobody on the phone? I will close citizen comment on future agenda. I'll open that back up at the end of the meeting in case you're running late or someone took your parking spot. I will now move on to advertised public hearings. These are quasi-judicial. These are presentation upon request. Ms. Knapp, do you want to read item number 2?
Item number 2 is Plan Amendment 2410, Ordinance 2538. This is Pendler Lorraine CPA. It's a small-scale comprehensive plan map amendment, and the applicant is requesting a continuance to January 8th, 2026.
Do you want to read number 3 as well? They're together, correct?
Oh, yes, my apologies. Item number 3, PDR 2418, ZP Pendler Lorraine. And this too is requesting a continuance to January 8th, 2026.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, can we, do they both have to be open, or can we just continue them both at the same time?
Well, they're both open at the same time.
Correct.
Separate motion?
We need separate motions? Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Before we make a motion, I'd like to know the reason for the request for continuance.
Is there anyone from the applicant here? Mr. Rudisil.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. I'm Scott Rudisell, here on behalf of Pendler, who's the applicant here. We had some comments that came up at Planning Commission related to the traffic conditions on the site. So we're going back and actually running some updated traffic counts so we can get some better information. I think we're going to have an updated traffic study. We're also working through some stipulations with staff. We've submitted them. We're waiting to get some feedback. We had some concerns from the county attorney's office during our planning commission meeting, so we're trying to work through those stipulation issues as well.
Did the planning commission make a determination?
They did make a recommendation, yes.
What was the recommendation?
Denial.
Okay.
Ms. Feltz.
I noticed that you did have a neighborhood meeting, which was held.
Before, I'm not trying to interrupt you. I just want to make sure we're doing things on the up and up here.
Bob asked a
I-
question, I'm
I-
asking a question.
That's fine, but before you do, there's a motion on the floor. The motion is for a continuance. So the
Aye.
discussions and dialogue up on this dais and in this room, and any public comment that comes up, as I say every time we have a continuance request, has to be relevant and germane to the request for continuance, because that is now a motion on the floor. Going into details of the specifics of the project is outside of the motion. that has
Request a
been-
dialogue, Chair.
The dialogue with who?
Request just a moment.
Sure.
Okay. I am asking questions that are pertinent to my judgment on whether to vote this for a continuance or not. If you would allow me to ask questions to be informed versus just random, I think you'll understand.
Go ahead.
May I continue?
Please do.
My question is, sir, you were generous enough to have a neighborhood meeting on this, which took place August 14th, 2024. As you've gone through the planning commission stage and, had a denial there and are asking us for a continuance to, and this would give you, so we're already at 60 days after your planning commission hearing?
Yes.
Okay. And then this would give you another 30 days on that, right? Because you want to work out some things that you have. Would you consider, as your last neighborhood meeting was in August of 2024, and you've obviously are exploring some revisions or adaptations to make this project more successful, would you find it perhaps beneficial to make your community aware that you've made these efforts by having another neighborhood meeting, since your last one was 2024? And if I look at it here, and if that would give you enough time to do that, because you have made some revisions, and it would be fair for people to know the effort that you've made since your planning commission denial.
Yeah, I will talk to the applicant about that. I suspect they would not have an issue with doing that.
Yes, because I think the last time that you did have your neighborhood meeting in 2024, you had 10 participants. And unfortunately, I don't see, let me see, I think maybe the next page. And 3 in your community.
Right.
And like I said, you guys have put some work in. You wouldn't be asking us for a continuance had you not put some work in to make this more plausible for everyone. And I think that it would behoove your mission to perhaps get that information out there to the public for your benefit.
Understood, Commissioner.
Thank you.
I have no one else on the board. I have a motion to approve the continuance. We're doing item number 2 first, by Commissioner Ron, seconded by myself. I'll open this up to public comment. Seeing none, I will close public. Yo. You guys, somebody called the vote. I did not abstain.
It's over there.
Just put me down as a yes.
It's over there.
The what?
Clerk.
Oh, it's over there. It is approved, the continuance is approved 5-1 with Commissioner McCann in opposition. I'm not an abstain, just switch me. And Commissioner Siddiq absent. I will now entertain motions for item number 3.
Motion to approve the continuance?
I have a motion to approve the continuance for item number 3 by Commissioner Ballard. I'll second that. You can cast your votes now. Do a quick, hurry up. I did. Man, we need we got itchy trigger finger down there.
I can't.
Okay. Or just for clarification, we are allowed time to respond. How do you vote verbally? How do you vote, Commissioner Ballard, or Commissioner Phelps?
I'll walk out of the room if that'll make this more valid.
No, just,
Very
okay.
Thank you, dolls.
It's the clerk.
Wait, did you switch your vote?
No, my vote is a no.
No, Commissioner McCann is still a no. It is 5 yeses, myself, Commissioner Phelps, Commissioner Ron, Commissioner Ballard, Commissioner Bearden, 1 no, Commissioner McCann, and 1 absent, Commissioner Siddiq. 5-1 with 1 absence.
How was the first one?
Same exact vote.
Same exact, thank you very
Same exact. All right.
2026 is going to be wonderful.
Listen up, I'll ask your opinion because I don't know what the length is.
2026 is going to be wonderful.
Do you think we're better off banging through these continuances first, and then going back? Because number 4 is a full-on presentation. I'm not sure how long the anticipated presentation is. There's not people here, but this is more your opinion. I know we traditionally do affordable housing projects up front, but if we can shoot through like 10 of these to clear out the people that are just sitting here for that may be a little bit more efficient. But that's your opinion. I don't know if number 4 is a super fast one or not.
The ones that we say are super fast always prove us wrong.
Fair
I
enough.
would recommend you move to the ones that have at least asked for continuance and then go back to 4.
That was my request. Okay,
Just put them all down 5-1.
second. Okay, that was a joke. Okay, so we are going to jump out. I'm sorry if you're here for number 4, but we're going to try to get through these quick just for the continuances. So we open up number 5.
Item number 5 is PDR 2403ZP Erie Road Residential. In this, the applicant had requested continuance to January 8th, 2026.
Okay, we have a request for continuance till January 2026.
Is there anybody here?
And are you asking for somebody? These are presentations upon request. You asked for someone here to talk about the continuance? You need to use your microphone. You have a right to ask if somebody's here.
The
I just-
applicant is not here for item number 5.
Okay, and this
You got to
is
turn it
the-
on as well.
This is the second,
You-
this is the second continuance.
You have to turn it on.
Hold on. Let's get the deets here. I'm looking at their reason for requesting a continuance. Okay. And since nobody's here, I'm assuming that it's a scheduling issue. Right. Nope. Not December 4th.
Microphone is not on.
It has not been
I'm
on.
trying to,
CJ, may I ask you to step to the podium do you know what the letter said was the request for the continuance to
yeah,
help the
at least,
commissioner?
at least show up.
I believe that the applicant is requesting a continuance today because they were not able to have their legal representation here.
Okay, and this is the second, there was already 1 continuance asked for. Looks like we got 2.
And I do know that the original continuance for this one was to December, but again, I don't believe they were able to have their legal representation.
That's correct. I found the letter, CJ.
Yeah. So they're asking for a continuance to January.
And also, just to be clear on a lot of these, because January does seem far out, we don't have
don't
an
have a
obligation to make our staff and ourselves and our public miserable by having never-ending meetings. So some of these requests were requested for December, and we postponed them to January to make sure that everyone had a fair shake without trying to just burn people's brains by putting 30 items on a single thing. So some of these people were continued farther out than they requested, based upon the convenience of our
Right.
staff and ourselves and our
holiday
public.
time for
That's
the
correct, Mr. Chair.
representatives.
Maybe.
Is there anything else?
My birthday's January 8th, so thanks, guys.
I don't want to hear it. I missed my 20th anniversary and my 50th birthday. Okay. So she's done. Okay, I have a motion to approve continuance by Commissioner Ron, seconded by myself. Open this up to public comment. Seeing none, I will close public comment. If there's no further comment, you can cast your votes now. As approved 4-2 with Commissioners Feltz and McCann in opposition and Commissioner Sadiq absent. Item number 6.
Item number 6, PDMU 1422 PR4 Travesta, and the applicant requests a continuance to January 8th, 2026.
I can't make that motion. I have a motion to continue by Commissioner Ballard, seconded by Commissioner Ron. Nobody's on the board. I will open this up to public comment. Bless you. Yeah, you have to state your name and your county of residence. Okay, I will close public comment.
Is the applicant here? No? We take for granted that all these things are going to be just automatic? Is that how it works? And the staff shouldn't be, sitting here representing the applicant and what the applicant said.
We are
So,
not,
again-
Commissioner, we are not here representing the applicant. We are here because this is our job to represent as case planners. If the applicant chooses not to attend, there's not much we can do about that.
I agree, that's correct. So you shouldn't speak for them and give us a reason why. They should be speaking for themselves because they're the party that are coming for the quasi-judicial proceeding. Thank you.
To be clear, just because I want to make sure we're on proper footing, nobody from our staff spoke on behalf of the prior applicant. A request was made to get an understanding of why a continuance was made. A letter was submitted. Staff simply read the facts off of a letter, did not opine on or represent an applicant at any point in time on that last one. That is not what our staff is here to do. Commissioner Feltz.
Okay. In this particular case, we have been asked for a continuance with no reason. And if we look at the cover sheet, again, let's not, the majority of these are in my district. And why would we not look at why somebody wants a continuance? Why would we just say it's all okay? Put some thought into it. It doesn't take that much time to put thought into it, as I've suggested to the other ones. We're really here to help you out, but don't rush us through this when we have a right to ask questions and we have a right to ascertain, is this in the best interest of our public? So, my question is, on this, we have been given no reason for the request for continuance, unlike the other one where it was a matter of scheduling. So I am merely asking the question, why what makes this a necessity for a continuance? And if there's nobody here that could answer that question, we are. And we're going to base that on because I want a continuance. I'd like to have had my parking space this morning. That didn't work out for me, but we got her done. So merely a situation that I think it's kind of prudent to think about. So unless somebody from Trivesta would like to, and please, I ask our staff, for the applicant's benefit, if someone asks for a continuance, all they got to do is put it in writing why, so we don't sit up here asking why and being made to look fools of because we're asking questions for once versus rubber stamping things just because somebody wants a continuance. So, in this case, again, we don't even know why they want a continuance. If we look at the cover sheet, what was the status of this? When was this brought before the Planning Commission? So we don't know. That already gives them, it's 30 days after a Planning Commission decision, so that already gives them 30 days, okay? But we don't know. Isn't that what we have a Planning Commission for? And on the cover sheet, it should tell us when it was heard before the Planning Commission, what the Planning Commission's decision was. It's not there.
It's on the staff report, ma'am. I can answer if you'd like.
That would be wonderful, thank you.
They were in front of the Planning Commission August 14th, and they were originally scheduled before the board September 4th. They asked for continuance to today. And the Planning Commission voted 6-0 to recommend denial.
Sounds great. But they're not here today, and they're asking for a continuance. Why does this make sense to anybody? Why not asking why? It doesn't make sense to anybody. Just saying.
All right, I'm next on the board. Here's what I think I literally sat here and listened to you say whatever that was you tried to say. And now I start talking and I'm not rolling, please, Commissioner Feltz. I don't know who people think they are up here. Yes, we call this quasi-judicial, but we're not actual judges. We don't have summoning authority up here to require people to come running in here at our beck and call to present projects to us. If they would have quote-unquote asked for a continuance prior to noticing, then you wouldn't even know about it. They just would have said, I'm not ready, don't notice me yet. Because the applicants are the ones coming in to present to us. We're not calling them in, requiring them to present to us. They're the ones that now have to carry properties for months without any approvals. They're the ones who have to delay their projects and cover their finance costs to push these down the road. The onus is on them. Renoticing these meetings and the cost of that is on them, not on us. So to say, you ask for a continuance, they don't have to ask for continuance if it's not noticed ahead of time. They just say, I'm not ready for this one. Don't put me on that agenda. They could do it for any reason or no reason at all. They could, their team could have made the baseball playoffs and they got good tickets. Their mom could be sick. They could have, their attorney could have been booked up in court. There's any reason or no reason at all. They're not obligated to give you reason. They're the ones bearing the brunt of the cost associated with the continuance because they do not feel like coming in here. And at no point in time can we compel them to come in here. At no point in time can we hear a hearing without an attorney present because what is that going to get us? What, you're going to deny a project without the due process of the applicant and their legal representation presenting to us on a quasi-judicial hearing? That's going to get you nothing other than like 8 likes on Facebook and then a lawsuit. And then we're going to have to pay for a lawsuit, which we're going to lose. And then they're going to come back in front of us anyway when they feel like it. That's how these continuances work. So this is administrative. This is them just telling us, we changed our mind after you noticed it, after they paid for us to notice it. So put me on a different schedule. We took a hardline stance saying we're not putting you on the next one. You're going to get delayed until we're ready to hear from you, which has now cost them even more money and more time to delay these even further. I think that's a very fair thing for the citizens, and it will be properly noticed. But to act like they didn't give us proper, they don't even have to give us notice. They could literally show up here at the day of the meeting and say, now I want a continuance. We're walking out the door. And that's what we have to do. I don't understand what we're doing here. I understand your frustration, but your frustration doesn't alleviate the facts. And the facts are they do not have to present to us. They are under no legal obligation or Florida statute obligation to present to us at the time and place that this board determines that they're supposed to present to us. Commissioner Bearden.
So here's the way I think of this. I want to hear the applicant present themselves to us and the time when we need to vote, right, on a particular item. So I'm a man of grace, right? So if there are some things that need to be fixed that they want to present, right, to us, I'm going to be the decision maker whether or not I see it fit or not fit. So I'm sure that with this continuance, they're going to go back to the planning board and see what they can do. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to approve it, right? But I'm definitely a man that wants to give grace when I see opportunities to give grace, and I think this is a situation where we need to give grace, because we all know that sometimes there's opinions that are stronger than others in particular boards, right? Even with the planning commission, there's things that we've agreed in the past with planning commission, there's things that we've disagreed with their votes, you know, based on particular things. So I think that with a situation such as this, you know, I'm going to be in favor of granting that just because I believe in grace and them explaining whatever they need to do. If they see issues that they need to fix, to bring it up to this board who makes the final decision, and then we're going to make the decision whether or not we're going to approve or deny that particular development, which happens all the time. So that's just the way that I see this particular situation. If they're not ready, okay, go back to the planning board and see if you can get ready. Doesn't mean you're going to get a yay from me. So that's all I have, and you know, I just want to make that a point. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Were you on the board first?
No, you were on the board first.
I appreciate that, and that's exactly it. But out of respect for this board and out of respect for our taxpayers, frankly, I don't care what anybody else thinks or wants. I know what my citizens think and want, and they want transparency. When I spoke to the previous applicant, those applicants are my constituents too. So I could look out for both sides of them. And it doesn't behoove someone to think first of anything other than the fairness between those parties that are both my constituents. And I don't need to be lectured, and I don't need to be questioned when my seat up here is just as equal as anybody else's. And I've been through this. We are trying to make improvements on the system. And you can't make improvements unless you have dialogue and discussion, and you set policies and standards that you hold all equal to. And that's all we're trying to do here, not rush so somebody can make a lunch date.
Commissioner McCann.
I appreciate all the comments up here today. Quasi-judicial process is governed by state statute. If you practice before DOA, you don't get to say, I'm not coming today, I want a continuance. You have to show cause, okay? State statute says, you know, we do not have to grant these continuances. Regardless of what was set up here, we do not have to grant these continuances. A lot of these things that are coming up here now are already denied by a planning commission, so what they're trying to do is get a second bite of the apple. And the thing is that we are looking at this and we're just automatically granting things. That's why I asked that we have a quasi-judicial, you know, workshop and bring in people from DOA to explain exactly what it means. Because up here so far, There hasn't been any consistency whatsoever. The thing is, this is a request for a continuance, and they don't even show up. If they did that in a court of law, you know, the court of law would say, or a quasi-judicial, like DOA, would say, fine, you lose, you're done. So the thing is that you cannot just say, I want to continue and not come here and not give us a reason for the continuance. So, you know, I have no problem with this, but there is a precedent being set here by this board that, you know, hey, automatic, no problem, don't worry about it, we're just going to move on because it'll make our meeting shorter. The other thing is that the two that I had there want to be built on Lorraine Road, and, you know, they were shot down by the Planning Commission. I knew that. I have the document right here. And the thing is that the reasons were given in there. They don't comply to the land use code, and they don't comply to the comp plan. So, I mean, they're saying, let's go find another way to do this. Now, you said that we moved some people back. This was already a second continuance, now going for a third. So the thing is that what we really need to do is have people understand the law before they start talking about it. Thank you.
Ms. Knapp.
Can I just have one clarification? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the acronym Commissioner McCann was using. I apologize.
DOA.
What is the agency? I'm not familiar with that acronym.
DOA, you want the exact term?
Just what the acronym means that you
For the
used.
record.
Department of Administrative Hearings.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair,
Hold on, I have Ms. Knapp on the phone, on the list, and then you put yourself on
Okay.
if you want to talk.
For record purposes, I would like the clerk to be aware that Commissioner Siddiq is attending virtually since 9:20, so he can participate in voting.
Yes,
Okay.
I received the message.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sarah, did you have something to say before I go to Commissioner Bearden?
Good morning, my name
Wait,
is...
whoa, sorry, Sarah.
Oh.
I don't want to imply anything, maybe that's your name as well, but I'm going to this, Sarah.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just want to point out, your rules of procedure in 5.5.5.5 speak to continue public hearings. It says the board may continue a public hearing for good cause in accordance with applicable law in any matter where it is known that a scheduled public hearing will be continued to a future date certain, et cetera, and so forth. So the applicant has the burden of proof to show the request for continuance for good cause. Now, if you want to have stricter rules of continuances, you should put it in your rules of procedure so the whole world is knowledgeable that continuance is more scrutinized in what has to be shown, rather than ad hoc continues some and not others. That's just my suggestion if that's the way we're going.
Correct, because then you start picking winners and losers if you continue some and you don't continue others for absolutely no reason or on yours or because it's on a
I just
road
want-
that you don't like, well, one day, but then the other one is something else, and you continue. There's, like, right now, we talk about setting precedent. You're literally saying it because we've already,
Guys,
I appreciate your
can we-
comments,
can we get
but
some
you did
order?
hear the words "good cause," right?
Sure.
Okay, that's what the rule says right now, good cause. So since we're not getting any cause at all, that can't be a good cause. Thank you.
tone it down. Commissioner Bearden,
okay,
you're
thank you, Mr. Chair. All right, let me make a suggestion moving forward. That we have some type of mechanism put in place for the reasonings why we need to do a continuance, right? And somebody tells us, hey, we're gonna, you know, we got 0-6 on the vote and because of a fence, the neighbors want a fence, right? And just annotate that, or, hey, you know what, maybe we could go back and work on some flooding that we may think that we could fix, or whatever it might be. But some type of reasoning behind, and why is a continuance not administrative and has to come up to this board, is another question. Okay, so, you know, maybe it's just something, you know, some type of reasoning behind what the continuance is, and, you know, the board will have some type of foreknowledge as far as, you know, why they want that actual continuance, right? Maybe that's something we need to do, so that we don't have these issues. Because I foresee this happening on this board, where we're going to continue to have this conversation every land use meeting, every continuance that comes on the agenda.
Agreed.
And so we need to fix this now so we don't have this issue in the future. So I don't know what the board's temperature is on that, but that's just a recommendation, so.
Commissioner Feltz.
I hate to see this discussion mischaracterized because I don't think that's any of our intent. I really don't. Okay, but we have to set some policies before we set some precedents. And again, that mechanism, I think that we would need to, we could have a workshop and take all day long, but I think that we have enough knowledge and experience with our staff and our own individual input into that perhaps we can craft a policy for discussion at our next meeting and adopt that as a rule and practice.
Okay, I'm just, I know you're on, I'm going to call you.
Okay.
But I would still remind everyone that in the middle of the land use meeting here, we have a lot of other things. This seems like a general conversation that could also be held during commissioner comments later. I'm happy to sit here and dialogue back and forth on this and try to have it, but right now we have people in this audience and we're starting to talk about, well, almost everything we've talked about has nothing to do with the actual motion on the floor at this point in time. It has to do with the concept of the motion, which I think we can do at the end of this meeting without tying up everyone else's time.
And while we're on this subject matter, I'll just say it's very simple. Who, what, when, where, why. 5 Ws. We'll just make it simple. And that's just a suggestion, and we can move on now, so.
Okay, are you the applicant for this?
My name is Steve Krasinski. I'm with the civil engineering design firm. This is not.
Wait, hold on. We have a process for this,
sorry.
so this isn't just run up to a microphone. We called out, is there anyone for the applicant? Nobody responded. Are you or are you not with the applicant?
Yes.
Because this is quasi, so if you're going to speak, if anyone's going to speak, I need to swear everybody in right now.
Understood.
Thank you. At this time, if anyone is wishing to speak today, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the factual statements and representations you're about to make to the Board of County Commissioners are truthful and accurate? Thank you. When you step to the podium, please state your name clearly, county of residence, and if you've been sworn.
Go ahead.
My name is Steve Krasinski. I'm with the applicant, and I've just been sworn in. I apologize for coming in so late. I was this is my first time. I'll be straight up honest with you. I have been texting with my boss, who's also been double booked. This is not my particular project, as I'm representing the civil design team as well. But to answer Commissioner Felt's comments about needing a reason for the continuance, I've been told that it's because this particular project was denied at the planning board and that we have some internal items to discuss with the staff. So again, I want to apologize for being late, but I wasn't planning on representing this particular
Understood.
project.
All right, thank you. All right, I will open this up to public comment pertaining to you stood up like you were going to come up and talk. All right, I will close public comment. I have no one else on the board. I have a motion to approve continuance by Commissioner Ballard, seconded by Commissioner Ron. If there's no further comment, you can cast your votes now.
Aye.
Commissioner Siddiq is an aye. As approved, 5-2 with Commissioners Feltz and McCann in opposition. And just the swearing in reminded me, just to clean up the rest of the stuff. Item number 1, is there any ex parte communication? Item number 2, that's legislative. Item number 3, though, on Penlar, any ex parte? Item number 5, any ex parte? Item number 6. Okay, now we're moving on to item number 7, also a request for continuance. Is there any ex parte communication on this one? All right, Ms. Knapp.
Item number 7, PDC 2435ZG, State Road 64, Bourneside Boulevard, PDC rezone. And the applicant requests a continuance to December 4th, 2025.
Commissioner Phelps.
Our cover sheet does not specify, I'm sorry. Our cover sheet, any specifications on when this was heard by the Planning Commission and the result?
The Planning
in the
Commission was
documents.
August 14th.
Is that on the cover sheet?
It's on the staff report at least.
Gotcha.
I'm limited on how many documents I can
Gotcha.
open, so it's on the
Gotcha.
staff report. And,
August 14th?
correct. And this is their first attendance in front of the board. And the vote was 6-0 with a recommended adoption.
Right. And we did receive a letter requesting for the continuance that's contained in the packet. However, no reason was given. So we have that level on this one. Thank you.
All right, I have no one else on the board. I'll open this up to public comment. Seeing none, I will close public comment. I have a motion to approve continuance by Commissioner Ron, seconded by myself. You can cast your votes now. Commissioner Siddiq, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Siddiq is an yes?
Yes.
Yes. He is not abstained, he's a yes. That is 5-2 with Commissioners Feltz and McCann in opposition. Item number 8, any ex parte on this one? All right, Ms. Knapp.
Item number 8, PDC 2417ZG, State Road 64, Uline Road Commercial. The applicant requests a continuance to December 4th, 2025.
I have a motion to approve continuance by Commissioner Ballard, seconded by Commissioner Ron. I have no one on the board. I'll open this up to public comment. Seeing none, I will close public comment, and if there's nobody on the board, you can cast your votes now.
Aye.
That is approved 5-2 with Commissioners Feltz and McCann in opposition. And now, thankfully, our last continuance, Ms. Knapp.
Agenda item number 9, PDMU 2503G, the Hilton Live Smart and Wood Spring Suites Hotel. The applicant requests continuance to December 4th, 2025.
Is there any ex parte on this one? All right. Commissioner Feltz.
Just of note, the request for continuance on this one, the reason for this request is to have our application heard by a full board. It is our understanding that the BOCC meeting for October 9th, 2025 does not have 100% attendance by commissioners. Are we all here? Yes, we are. And I appreciate Tal beaming in there. Thank you, dude.
I have a motion to approve continuance by Commissioner Ron, seconded by myself. I will open this up to public comment. Seeing none, I will close public comment. If there's no further comments from this board, you can cast your votes now.
Aye.
I have one question before we do this. I just want to make sure that people understand that they're not entitled to a full board. We don't have any policy that says that. There is no law that says that. All they're entitled to is a quorum. We need to make that public knowledge.
That is approved 5-2 with Commissioners Feltz and McCann in opposition. Now we will backtrack up to where we were with item number 4. It's presentation upon request and quasi-judicial. Ms. Knapp.
Item number 4, PDR 2504ZG, 5th Street, Elmington. This is a rezone of approximately 3.38 acres, generally located 800 feet east of the intersection of 1st Street and 301 Boulevard East, from residential multifamily 6 to planned development residential, approving a general development plan including 90 multifamily units and 100% of the units designated as affordable housing pursuant to a land use restriction agreement. And your staff presenter is James McDevitt.
This is a presentation upon request. Does anyone want a presentation on this?
Yes.
Okay. Applicant? Just state your name and that you've been sworn, and let's hear your presentation.
Good morning. My name's Aaron Vargas. I'm with Elmington, Director of Development. Oh, thank you. So thank you all for your time. I definitely want to appreciate staff for all your help and all your work in getting us to this point. We're really excited about this development, Fifth Street Apartments. Before we get into the actual development itself, just wanted to give you a little background on us, on Elmington. So we've been around for about 15 years. We're headquartered in Nashville, but I'm in Tampa, not too far from here in Manatee. We specialize in the development of affordable and workforce housing. We've developed about 11,000 units, have about 1,000 units under development in the state of Florida right now. One thing that's really important to keep in mind with us is we're not a merchant builder, so we don't come in, build as cheaply as possible, sell, and then just get out of town. We develop it, we build it, we own it, we operate it. So it's definitely in our interest to build a sustainable quality development. And anytime you're working in the multifamily realm, an important part of that is property management. And Elmington Property Management does an outstanding job. You see there their portfolio, just under 48,000 units that they manage, over 300 properties, over half the states in the country. They do an outstanding job. Tons of resources, tons of experience, and they're a big part of our success and successful developments. So just wanted to show a few photos and pictures of recently completed Elmington development. So this is Union Common Flats in Cincinnati. A lot of the exterior looks, we really want to tailor those to the neighborhood, to the area. So you don't just kind of pull a look off the shelf and throw it into the community. We really try to tailor it to the surrounding area for compatibility reasons. And then on the interior, so this is Ridge Road Flats. This is in Tallahassee. It was actually completed earlier this year and is leasing up really well. These are the look of some of the interiors. You see in the top right, that's our clubhouse, so double height ceilings there, and really good, clean looking finishes. A few more pictures on some of the amenities. You see stone countertops, Energy Star appliances, fitness center, clubhouse, business center, all the types of things that you would expect to find in conventional, Class A development. You're going to find a lot of those features in developments that we build. I wanted to show a quick video, just again to get you familiar with us, to tell our story a little bit more. So you're going to see some more photos and pictures of recently completed Elmington developments. You'll hear from some of our partners, and you'll also hear from some of our residents. And ultimately, that's what this is about. This is about helping people get a secure footing for a chance to really thrive.
To be, man, somebody really should do something about that. And then today it evolved into, oh, that person, that company, that team is us.
But Elmington Capital stood out because of their commitment to being partners with Binghamton Development Corporation and doing what was in alignment with what the community asked. And here we stand today where they delivered on the promise. So you all give it up for Elmington Capital.
Elmington has been honest. Elmington has been forthcoming. Elmington has been generous. And Elmington has spent a lot of time really talking to folks and being involved in making this the best possible opportunity for all of us.
And who would know that I would fall upon hard times. But it can happen to anybody. And when you get to be older and your body doesn't work as good as it used to, you just can't go out there and make the money you did.
When I first moved in, the first day that I moved in, I didn't have nothing. And I was just so grateful to actually just be able to walk on the floor with no socks on. That was a blessing to me. Just to be in a new space, mentally, emotionally, the whole 9 yards. And so that right there was just an expression of how I was feeling when I got my key.
All right, so that was a little bit about us. So now to talk about Fifth Street Apartments. So 90 multifamily units, which will be 100% affordable. So here's the location. You see the star there in the middle of your screen. That's 301 that's running diagonally and then intersecting with Tamiami Trail going north. And then the old DeSoto Square Mall is a big development a little bit to the west. Zooming in a little bit, adjacent to the north, a multi-story, multifamily property. A little bit beyond that to the north is a grocery store, elementary school to the northeast, a Sprouts to the southwest. And then one of the reasons we really liked this site was the availability of public transit. So if you see all the yellow pins on your screen, all those are bus stops. So public transit readily available. One of those up to the northwest is the DeSoto station, about a half mile from the site. And there's 7 different bus lines that are serviced by that station. So public transit, very available to this site, which is a huge reason why we really like this infill location. So what's there? What are we proposing? It's currently zoned RMF6, which is residential multifamily. You see there the future land use retail office residential. It's currently a vacant site. And our proposal is to go to planned development residential. The future land use would stay exactly the same, so no changes there. And then we're proposing a density of 26 units per acre. With the affordable density bonus, we could actually go to 32 units an acre. And we certainly want to push density as much as we can, but at the same time, we want to do and develop a unit count that makes sense for the environment, for the community, for the area. And we felt that balances at 26 units an acre, where we're getting some increased density, but not really cramming a lot of units in there that doesn't make sense. So here's a look at the site plan itself. You see it's a single L-shaped building, access on the northeast corner right off of 5th Street. And you see the parking is kind of shaded from the street, it's hidden behind the buildings there. And again, 100% of these units will be affordable. So all of them will be restricted between 30% and 80% of the area median income. And that does not mean that quality suffers. So we're gonna have, you saw the pictures and photos, stone countertops, Energy Star appliances, fitness center, clubhouse, all those things, again, that you would expect to find in just a conventional development. And last note here, we did have a neighborhood workshop that was back in June, had a few folks in the community come out and were able to answer some of their questions about our plans and let them know what our proposals are. So this is just a quick kind of 3D rendering of the development. Again, we're pretty early on in the design process at this point. But this should be a pretty good representation of what this development will look like. So you see we just passed the fitness center and clubhouse. It'll be at the front end of the property. And as I mentioned, the parking is going to be shaded off the street behind the building, so you're not driving by on 5th Street and just seeing a sea of parking. You're going to see a good looking building that will look something very similar to this. And we really think that this is going to fit in well into the area and into the community itself. So from a compatibility standpoint, on the left you have the current zoning map. So our parcel is the RMF6 one in the middle. And again, we're proposing to change to PDR, which will mirror the multi-story multifamily property adjacent to our north. You see to the west, you have general commercial, heavy commercial to the south, neighborhood commercial to the southeast, and then some residential duplex and mobile homes over to the east. And then on the right side of your screen, you see the future land use. Again, no change there, ROR now, and will continue to be that in the future. So last thing for you, again, I mentioned previously about residents and people. Manatee County is not immune to the difficulties throughout Florida, throughout the country with affordability with respect to housing. So just a couple of numbers that really jumped out to us. 52% of renters in the county are cost burdened, so spending a big portion of their income towards housing. It's 1 and 2 renters. And we know that the affordable housing crisis is not just a problem of cost. Obviously, that's an issue, but underneath that is an issue of supply and demand. There's too much demand, there's not enough supply. And you see there the projection by 2030, there'll be a shortage of just under 9,400 units. And then when you look at lower income households, particularly some of the most vulnerable at $35,000 or less a year, a shortage of nearly 8,000 units. And we will have some individuals, or excuse me, some units that are set aside at those income levels to serve some of these households. And then last note for you on the right side of your screen, you see there that 89% of residential land in Manatee County is designated for single family. So that's why this is such a useful tool, the affordable housing density bonus, to leverage that use of increased density for developments that will support affordable housing. It's going to be, it's just a very useful tool. And that is all I have for you. Any questions? Happy to answer those.
My only question, well, I have 2 questions. One's an actual question. What's your capital stack on this? I mean, you're not building this out of your own pocket at those AMI levels. Are you using 4%, 9%? What are you using?
It would be a 4% development, so we would pursue.
Have they been allocated already?
Sale has not. So the State Department incentive loan, sorry if you're aware. So we would be submitting for funding, assuming approval here, we would be submitting for funding later this month. So that would be the gap filler.
And then submitting for bonds as well?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
all right. You only need 25% right now, I think.
That's right. New change.
That's helpful. My other thing, and it kind of gets into deliberation, this is one of the best projects I think we've seen in a long time. Why aren't you building the last 18 units? And is there anything that our plan is preventing that's keeping you from building those 18 units for 18 more rooftops, for 18 more families that we can do, whether it's parking, whether it's something? I mean, I'd really like to have those extra 18 units.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. I think there's 2 big parts of that. One is parking. We want to make sure that we're able to park it at a reasonable number. And with the availability of public transit, I think that ratio can be lower.
Are you restricted because you feel you need that parking, or are you restricted based upon our metrics for parking? I hate parking, so.
I'll have to go back and look and see where we are with respect to what's
Carol's
required.
going to take all your spots.
We generally try to stay around 1.4 to 1.5 stalls per unit. That's generally. For something like this, we could probably go below that due to the availability of public transit. So that's, if you have questions there, I can.
No, I'd happily entertain a stipulation if you had one for lower parking in exchange for 18 more units, honestly. I just think this is the exact thing we beg people to build. You're coming in here, again, not going into deliberation, but just to clarify why I feel so strong about those 18 extra units. You're building entirely 100% below 80%. We just had this conversation the other day about how nobody's actually building real affordable. They're all playing games with 120. You're building all of them at 80% and less. You're building it with no wetlands or environmental impacts, right on infrastructure we already have, on transit lines, walking distance from a major hub. I mean, this is an amazing project. I'd love to find a way of getting more units in it if I possibly could. I'd do what I can to get you more units. But again, that's half deliberation, so I don't want to get into it. I just wanted to know why you were capping it at 90.
Yeah, no, and that's a great question. So parking was one. The other are retention requirements. So there's new legislation that was actually, I think, passed a few years ago, but that'll be effective starting in December, that significantly increases the requirements of stormwater and nutrient. I'm losing the term right now, but so that's a major concern for us, just kind of across the board and across the state of Florida, is figuring out, okay, how are we going to make sure we're maintaining those requirements while not losing units? So that was another area where we didn't want to get too far over our skis, and then all of a sudden we can't meet these state requirements that currently there will be no carve out for affordable housing. Hopefully that'll change, but that's probably a couple of years away before any kind of carve out could be created for us.
Okay. Thank you. I have Commissioner Ballard, then I think Commissioner Sadiq had put himself on the board, and then I've got Commissioner Bearden and Commissioner Feltz. Go ahead, Commissioner Ballard.
Yeah, I also don't want to go into deliberation yet, but I do think this is, we need more of this. So if there is something that we can do to get the, that full unit count, I would be in favor of it. My other question is, the main entrance, is that going to be off of Fifth?
Yes, it is.
Okay. That's it for right now. I'll wait till deliberation. Thank you.
Commissioner Siddiq.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I echo a lot of Chairman Cruz's comments. Here's my question for you. What affordable housing incentives are you using, local, state, and federal? Just curious.
Yeah, great question. So locally, it would be, we intend to pursue impact fee waivers. And that is a huge needle mover. There are certain times when, because of certain impact fees in certain jurisdictions, that it makes it very difficult for, the numbers to pencil out. So that's one huge incentive. Obviously, the affordable housing density bonus that we're pursuing now. And then on the state level, it would be those gap funds from from Florida Housing Finance Corporation, the state apartment incentive loan sale, which is a big gap funding source for us for this development.
Got it. And typically, how long do you hold on to your properties? And in particular, how long would you hold on to this one?
We're long-term holders. So there's that initial 15-year compliance period, and then we intend to hold it for at least that. Afterwards, there may be, if a rehabilitation is needed or something like that, then we would try to, recapitalize and make sure that we, are making sure that the development itself is maintaining quality. But we are definitely long-term holders.
Got it. So the reason I ask all that is because you also have the federal incentive in that particular area, which is the Opportunity Zone. Are you aware of that?
I am, yes.
Okay. It's just something to look into. You're going to hold on to it for.
We may have lost you. I'm not able to hear you if you're still talking.
Are you back?
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. If you're going to hold on to it for 15 years, you can defer your capital gains. So if that helps, I hope you can look into that. But otherwise, you've answered my questions there. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Beard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This particular project is a project that, we could set a standard for. And that what that means, what I mean by that is local incentives, right? We want to be very friendly with projects like yours because, doing this 90 units plus, potential plus, I don't know if you're going to be able to do that by adding 18, but 3.38 acres is phenomenal. And so these are the types of projects that get my favor, okay? And I want to make that clear across the board. If you want my favor, bring projects like this to me or to this board, and I'm very favorable with projects like this because this is what we've been talking about as Chairman Cruz has been stating. So I just wanted to make those few points there, but a beautiful project. I saw the one up in Tallahassee. I actually walked by it at one point in time when we were up in Tallahassee when I went on long walks. Nice. And it's a beautiful project, by the way, and saw it in real time. So I'm definitely going to be in favor of this project. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Feltz.
Also, very nice project. I think Commissioner Ballard should be proud to have this in her district. The only and I understand about those 18 extra units. It would be nice to have 18 extra units in there, but taking away from the design, and I mean, they do have a pool, and maybe Commissioner Ballard will get you a community garden over there. You're right across from Come See, Come Save, right?
I love the idea.
If there's anything, could use the pool, but really nice work on this, and I wish you the best of luck with it, and appreciate the presentation. And I think this is something that we all shoot for, and also appreciate your parking spaces. You're right there on the bus line, walking distance, all that, but now you have room for guests to come and enjoy your pool and maybe help at your community garden, but it's a good location.
Get on that.
Yeah.
It's a good place at a good time, and I appreciate the design and the thought put into that to make this affordable. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner McCann.
I just have one comment. I just want to say thank you for finally defining affordable housing. Hopefully, everybody else sees what you're doing. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Rock.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One quick question. We're seeing what a lot of our workforce or affordable housing where they're having some wrap services, where apparently this will be for families, we'll be moving into this. Are there any potential for wrap services where you would engage with the school board or engage with Boys and Girls Club or something like that for on-site for kids that need aftercare on-site at the project?
So we're always interested in partnering locally with groups that are already taking care of folks in the community. I will say that some of the services that we're already planning for are one is an employment assistance program. These are just classes. You don't have to go to them, but they're offered. And essentially these are to help folks with resume building, with interview prep, with interview follow-up. There's also a financial management program that helps with budgeting and taking care of things on the financial side. And then one of the other services that we typically provide is a home ownership opportunity program. And that's where, again, the tenants can elect into this. They don't have to use it. But if they choose, 5% of rent each month gets set aside and just held with the goal of hoping to use that for a down payment. And that's not 5% in addition to their rent. That is 5% of their rent goes into this pot.
Can we help you find more land?
That's why I just said.
I would love that.
I mean,
And build 18 more units.
Come to District 4.
And build 18
I'll
more
help you.
units.
But no, I love infill. This
Yeah.
is a great project. I mean, you guys are to be commended. We have a lot of projects going up right now that are great projects also, but this is a great project, and you guys, again, are to be commended for what you presented today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you. No one else on the board. I'm now going to staff, but it's presentation upon request. Does anyone want to hear staff's presentation at this point?
I don't think we need anything
Okay.
else.
I'll open this up to public comment.
Can I ask one question? I'm sorry if this is not the
It's not,
venue
but
for
go
that.
ahead.
For the approval today, because I would like to go back and look and see what is the possibility of.
This is going to be a question
increasing.
for Ms. Knapp. Is there an opportunity for them to request a modification after approval?
It would probably likely require coming back before the board.
Okay.
Yes, I'm getting a shake, which means you have the option to request a continuance and come back?
Yeah. I mean, one of the.
Is there a way to modify the motion that allows for an approval of up to 108 with something?
If we can discuss it during a recess or take a break, what time is it? It's close to your break time and ask for, we might be able to discuss that.
I mean, if there's a way of wording it that allows up to 108 units with a minimum of no less than X for parking or whatever it is that they need to make it happen, I mean, literally,
Yep.
I'll give them more density on this. I mean,
We would need 15 minutes in the staff room to determine that.
do you want us to recess for 15 minutes, come back at 10:30, see if there's something work out, or you just want us to go ahead with what you have requested today?
If we can reword it and they don't use it, it's okay to do less.
Yeah, you'd
right?
still,
So-
your worst case is still what you're asking for.
It's a win-win for you.
So obviously, again, Patrick Side and Sticker, ICAR Merrill have been sworn. I would defer to the client on if they would want to recess, but I think Commissioner Cruz did exactly what we would anticipate, which is a not to exceed 108 number, assuming that the parking can fit, so that they can go back and ensure that this is able to be penciled out.
I mean,
with
for
the additional
15-minute
6
recess,
minutes, so-
you at least have the opportunity to sit down with your architects and your engineers. If it doesn't work out, you still get the 90 at the same 1.4 parking. But if there's a way of doing it where you can get 18 more units, I think everyone on this board wants you to find 18 more units.
Absolutely. The option to do that would be outstanding.
All right, so it's 10:08. Just want to take an even recess to 10:30, and then you guys work it out. We'll come back 10:30. All right, we're on recess.
One more comment, Mr. Chair, real quick, just on that note.
Are back, and we are still on item number 4. Ms. Knapp and applicant, where do we stand in terms of any modifications, or are we moving forward with the motion that was already presented?
The applicant's going to step forward, but I'll summarize. Due to the preciseness in our advertising and the accuracy of the public hearing advertisement, we're not going to be able to move forward today with adding additional units. Along with that, if the applicant wanted to move forward with those, they would have to amend their stormwater plan, their general development plan, possibly their transportation plan, and at some point, it might not, but it could get to a substantial change. It would have to go back to the PC anyway. So since we're going to have to re-advertise, they would have to make an amended application. So they can state for the record what they're going to do today, but I believe they're going to move forward as is today.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Fair enough, fair enough. I have not opened this up to, did I open this up to public comment? I don't think so. I don't believe so. I'll open this up to public comment. I will close public comment. Any final comments from staff? You're good, right? You don't have anything more? All right. I have nobody on the board. I'm entertaining motions.
Motion to approve.
I will do motion to approve for District Commissioner Ballard, seconded by Commissioner McCann. It's not up, but we can just do this verbally. I know where it's going to go. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That is approved 7-0.
Congratulations.
Mr. Chair,
How you doing?
could I do my little
Yeah,
housekeeping?
you can do a
statement?
little housekeeping.
Okay. Yes, Commissioners, please bear with me. There was recent amendments to Florida statutes effective October 1, 2025, that when you have these continuances, we have to announce the date, time, location. So I'm just going to do a one-on sentence and handle the continuances in one sentence that way. So the items that were continued, for the record, number 2, PA 2410, ordinance 2538, Pendler, Lorraine's Compass Plan Amendment, and number 3, PDR 2418 ZP, Pendler, Lorraine, rezone preliminary site plan. Number 5, PDR 2403 ZP, Erie Road Residential. Number 6, PDMU 1422P, R4 Travesta. Number 7, PDC 2435 ZG. Number 8, PDC 2417 ZG. Number 9, PDMU 2503G. All those public hearings will continue to date certain, as stated in the record previously. All of them will be commenced at 9:00 a.m. or soon thereafter may be heard in the Manatee County Government Administration Building, Patricia M. Glass Chambers, 112 Manatee Avenue West, first floor. Okay, thank you.
Everyone get that? All right. All right. Moving on to advertised public hearing. This is also presentation upon request. Number 10 and 11, I'm assuming can be open together, Ms. Knapp?
Correct. Item number 10 is ordinance number 2543, Sarasota Braden International Airport, DRI number 15. This is amending and restating a development order pursuant to Chapter 380 of Florida statutes for the Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, development of regional impact, to approve the following changes to map H and the development order. 1, to delete 20,000 square feet of light industrial uses from phase 1 and add 20,000 square feet of school of special education uses to phase 2 on out parcel 2. Secondly, to clarify the acreage devoted to each land use in out parcel 2. Third, to reflect the statutory tolling and extensions of expiration dates, codifying and restate the existing development order for DRI 15. Revisions to terminology and format and classification changes. And this is all for Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, which is bordered by US 41 to the west, Talavast Road to the north, and 15th Street to the east. And then item number 11, PDMU 9907GR8, which is also for Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, DRI number 15. Item number 11 is to amend the PDMU ordinance, Plan Development Mixed Use Airport Impact Overlay, approving a general development plan with all of the changes I have read above. And that concludes both the introductions.
All right, these are both presentation upon request. Does anyone want a presentation on these?
Yes, I do.
Okay, is there an applicant here? Yes, it's been requested, yes.
Yes, I have. My name is Dan Bailey. I have been sworn with the Williams Parker Law Firm. I've been the airport attorney for about for over 40 years now. And we have a DRI. I was there the day it was born. And we're going to shortly be seeking to terminate it and just travel under a PDMU after there were some other changes. They'll come to you a little bit later. Today, we're here primarily not for any new development, but merely to change the use in an existing building. This building is located at 8323 Lindbergh Court. It's on the curve of 15th Street, where it curves, it joins on with, I guess, University Parkway along in there. This building was just built a few years ago. It's occupied now by a company called Unipac Aviation Company, but they're going to move over a little bit and provide some space in there for another company to come in called Aventi In-Flight Training Institute. And that is a company that trains flight attendants for corporate jets, basically on safety issues, culinary skills, that kind of thing. So it is, but because it's not an industrial use, it's a school of special education, is how it's classified. So we're having to provide for 20,000 square feet of that use to go in this existing building. That is essentially the presentation I would make. The building, ironically, it sits on a site where I was, as a teenager, worked in Florida Ladder Factory. If any of you can remember that old ladder factory. It was an old World War II or World War I building that was torn down, and this building sits on top of it. This is a relatively new building. So if you have any questions, or if you'd like for us to make a more formal presentation with graphics, we'll be happy to do that. Anna Willis of Kimley Horn is with me today, and we'll be able to provide you with more details if you desire them.
Thank you. And this is why form-based code is so great. Are there any questions? Nope, no questions for you.
Just a clarification.
Yes, sir.
You're not building any new buildings there,
No,
right?
sir. No, it's an
Okay,
existing building.
that's all the people
Change.
wanted to hear. Thank you very much.
Shows,
We'd like to build some more, but not today.
shows the ridiculousness of Euclidean zoning, that we have to go through this process to let kids go into a building, or adults, I guess, instead of light industrial. Anything from staff? I'll open this up to public comment. I will close public comment. Before I forget and get yelled at, was there any ex parte communication on this? All right. I'm assuming no final comments from you? No first comments from you? Nobody's on the board. Do we have to do these motions separate?
Yes.
Okay. I will entertain motions for item number 10.
So move on item 10, sir.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ron, seconded by Commissioner Feltz. You can cast your votes. It's up.
Aye.
Commissioner Siddiq is a yes. Jason.
Yep, yes. Oh, I thought we were doing a verbal.
It came up, so I figured we. That is approved 7-0. Entertain motions for item number 11.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ron, seconded by Commissioner Feltz. You can cast your votes now. Commissioner Siddiq.
Aye.
Commissioner Siddiq is a yes. That is approved 7-0. Yep, go teach people how to be a flight attendant. That's what they do. They spoke at an EDC breakfast, actually. Okay, final item on the agenda. This is presentation upon request as well. Item number 12, Ms. Knapp.
Item number 12 is LDCT 2508, Ordinance 2542, amending the Manatee County Land Development Code regarding the processing of plats consistent with the delegation of authority for administrative approval of final plats and replats consistent with law, with several amendments throughout Chapters 3 and 10, also revising language to include administrative approval authority for plats and providing for other amendments as may be necessary for internal consistency. And your staff presenter, should you need one, is Elizabeth Schulman.
Does anyone want a presentation on this? This was This is a state requirement from a bill that passed last session. Nobody's requesting a presentation. I'll open this up to public comment. There's nobody from the public here. This is legislative, but there's nobody on the phone. So I will close public comment. Still nobody on the board. So I will entertain motions on item number 12.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Ron, seconded by Commissioner Ballard. We can just, is it coming up? All right, we'll use the fancy software. Go ahead and cast your votes now. Commissioner Siddiq.
Yes.
Commissioner Siddiq is a yes vote, and that is approved 7-0. That is the end of our actual agenda at 10:40 in the morning. I will reopen up for, so I don't get yelled at, public comment for future agenda. Seeing none, no one's on the phone. I will close public comment, and I will go to commissioner comments. Since I have a yellow hand up, I will start with Commissioner Siddiq.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to hear an update from Development Services about a few things that are still in the works. So, one, I'd just like to hear, where are we at with proposals to do away with minimum parking ratios and minimum lot sizes? I think the last Land Development Tax Code amendment we heard, I think about a month ago, we were told they were still in the works. So just wanted a status update on that, please.
Commissioners, this is Rachel Layton for staff. We are still working on those items, Commissioner. I apologize. We're doing the best we can to keep up with all of the board directions.
Got it. Just wanted to know if it's still in progress. And then the last thing, when do we expect to hear back about form-based code?
At your next meeting, sir.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Feltz.
First off, Commissioners, I appreciate the lively conversation that we had this morning on policies and procedures. I think that's very important. I think having a consistent information on our cover sheets is really important to us, and I think that could get us through our meetings with a little bit more efficiency, and that's what we're all about, right? And so during the break, Commissioner Cruz brought us some things that he would like to see in the cover sheets, and I would like to encourage all the commissioners to provide some input to our staff for how we would like to see those cover sheets. And I would like for you to keep in mind who we worked for and who pays our salary. So bear in mind that these cover sheets must be, Commissioner Bearden's terms, the Barney method. But, get those points out. What is exactly that they want? Commissioner Cruz could add on what he wanted with the, if it comes under affordable housing. And this, so we have a standard cover sheet for these things. Because, we could read everything, some of us read everything that's on the agenda. But, when there's 5, 6, 7, 10 projects, it's hard to remember each one. If we could just flip to that cover sheet, I think that'll avoid a lot of discussion and questions. And we do need to take some responsibility here for the policy. We have to make that policy. All of us have to have an input on making policy. And that we have a lot of different facets that we're looking from. I mean, we know most of the land use stuff is in Bob and I's district, so maybe there's some things that you guys may not understand that's applicable to our districts that you don't see a reason maybe why this cover sheet is important or why we want the information out there in a certain manner. There's things that you can contribute from your points of view that you feel might make an improvement on this process. But I think it is time that we establish some standard policies so we know we have all the information we need at a glance. We don't have to argue amongst ourselves. We don't have to ask questions over again, because I know it's in there. I know it's always in there. And I'd just like to ask that we do a little bit better job on our maps and aerials. It's, I mean, I know some of these properties, and what we're presenting out there, we really could do a little bit better with them. It's not sometimes they're just not adequate so that I can be able to explain. I mean, things change from the time that an application is maybe put in years ago or whatever, and what it looks like now. And we have fleets of drones, you know, that we could take more accurate and more precise pictures so that people who are not familiar with these areas get a little, I mean, there's no excuse not to have really good pictures of everything now. You know, we've come so far with everything that I think we could just improve some of our presentation for people who are not familiar with the areas.
All right, Commissioner McCann.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a couple things that I want to revisit from the last meeting, from the commissioner agenda items. I want to make it very clear, I'm still getting emails on the Charlie Kirk stuff. I want to make it very clear to the public that there is going to be a date for public hearing, that we will definitely publish that date for public hearing, and that, the resolution for that will not be on the consent agenda, so it'll give them a second chance to talk. If it is on a consent agenda, I told them I would pull it.
It will not. It will not be.
Okay. I'm glad Commissioner Sadiq was able to show up today, because we do have some problems here, with two of his items. One of the items is, he wants to re-regulate what's going on with the illegal gambling. The problem is we don't have any authority over illegal gambling, and I looked at what's going on with the Marion County ordinance, and a lot of people don't understand that. That's only in the unincorporated part of the county. That's all we have jurisdiction over. Any municipality would have to adopt this all by themselves, so we have no jurisdiction over that. The penalties that we can give, the first thing you would have to give is the cease and desist notice, and then after that, a $250 fine, per violation. So, I asked for what this is here, and, they told us state and federal law cover this already. We don't have jurisdiction over the criminal part. We can certainly we can certainly add to it by, the enforcement that I just said, and that's what came out of the Marion. The other thing is that, the enforcement of illegal gambling, state law, supersedes us and preempts us and everything there. So, before we go through this, whole thing, I'm going to make sure that everybody gets a copy of all the information that I got on this, because there are Attorney General's opinions and there are also some other opinions. The last thing I want to talk about is the use of money for public purpose. This is very important, okay? There's key ethical considerations in this, Chapter 112, Part 3, Florida statutes. And, when you're spending funds for public purpose, you have to make sure that there's a legitimate public purpose. We cannot just create a public purpose by adopting some legislations in a vacuum that actually tell us, if you adopt these, it makes it legal. If you don't adopt these, then it doesn't. So there's actual case law on this. There's Ethics Commission and Inspector General scrutiny. And the summary on the Marine Corps ball is it is an unconstitutional donation or use of public funds to aid a private entity. That's the Bannon case out of Palm Beach. It does not necessarily primarily serve an express governmental public purpose. That's an AGO opinion. And the value of the tickets often constitutes a personal gift to attending, to the people that were going to there, which must be disclosed and can be prohibited if the primary purpose isn't public business. Now, advertisement at a public ball was covered in here, and again, that's not a legitimate public purpose. There are Attorney General opinions in here. There's Florida Supreme Court case law. There's legal ethics opinions in here, and I will be giving that to everybody. The problem we have is, sometimes we make these motions, and, they look very good on the surface. But, Valdez Veteran Alliance Services does a lot for veterans. I have no problem with that at all. but the Valdez Veteran Alliance Services is a 5013C nonprofit. And, you know, it is a private corporation. So, you know, we really can't be sponsoring a table there using public funds. I mean, you know, if we want to do this with private funds, we certainly could do that. The attorney's opinion that we got out here, you know, is questionable at best, because what she actually said, and I reviewed it again this morning, was if you adopt this, then it's on you to say that this is a public purpose and is legal. Well, we can't just do that in a vacuum. You know, again, there's case law on this, and there's all kinds of things. The other question I have for Commissioner Siddiq is, you know, and this was brought up by several constituents, you know, Edward Valdez and Jade Valdez established this nonprofit. And, you know, they're the ones that hold this ball. And one of my constituents brought to me that Edward Valdez actually, you know, gave $500 to Tal Siddiq's wife, you know, as part of, to run for state representative. And, you know, they questioned why we have Marines on this commission that didn't make this motion, and why he would make this motion after such a, you know, contribution. So the thing is, before we go forward with these two things, I think we need to read the case law. You know, I would probably actually ask Commissioner Siddiq to call up the Ethics Commission and ask them if this is a proper use of public funds, and if they say it is, it is. So the thing is that, you know, I'm just cautioning the board here, because a lot of things are questionable and they're being brought to my attention. Thanks for your time.
Commissioner Siddiq, your hand's raised.
I'll go after the other commissioners.
I think everyone's, Commissioner Knapp. You're the only one on the board, so.
No, I don't want to be a commissioner.
No. Ms. Knapp, you're the only one on the board.
I raised my hand for clarity, thank you, Mr. Chair, for clarity on a couple items Commissioner Feltz brought up so that we could discuss quickly. Maps are prepared at the start of our application process, so we can internally change that to where they're produced within 2 weeks of us advertising. And so they'd be, but they're only as good as those still maps. I would argue that maybe, yeah.
It's current information.
Yeah. And then standardizing the cover sheet, we can do that. That's an internal process too. We can't unfortunately put a chart on there, so that's why you'll get bullet points. The system.
To clarify, I had mentioned, I think previously, and then said it again today, one suggestion I had was, people always want to know what do these percentages mean? We had this conversation the other day about 120% versus 100%. That doesn't mean anything to anybody, and every year the schedule changes. And you can't just say 80% or $1,000, because it depends how many people are inside the unit. So what I had said was, anything that's an affordable project where any percentage of it is being proposed to restrict something, all I'm saying is it's a one-page little HUD thing that changes every year. Just add that as an attachment on the agenda item, so that anybody in the public or anyone up here can quickly look, oh, these are all 80%? Okay, what does that mean? And it's at ready disposal for the public and for us. It just makes it easy to be able to extrapolate a AMI percentage versus a rent.
So we can, that's easy to do, but if, I just wanted to say, part of why, the cover sheet, we can create some consistency, so the first bullet's always the request, and the second bullet is number of units and stuff like that. The more detail comes on the first page of your staff report, and that's where, because we have limits on the cover sheet, that's where, but we can attach that attachment, I'm not arguing that.
Sure, well, I think, and
But it won't be on the cover
I
sheet.
don't want to speak for Commissioner Feltz, but I think what will be great, I think for the public and for us, because we kind of get that before land use meetings. You guys send us those little like 1 or 2 page briefing kind of things, just as a quick summary. Those are great, but I think there's a certain information, as you listen year over year, there's the same questions. And we've been making modifications, like we never used to have the LOS for roads on there. Now we do, but it's on page like 6. And then it's like, I had to literally dig through this to see what the percentage for the affordable housing. Early on, it said it was going to be affordable, but as Commissioner Bearden pointed out, most of that means 25% of them are going to be 120%. I had to dig pretty deep to find out this was an amazing affordable opportunity of all 30 to 80%. I think if we just had some sort of a snapshot 1 to 2 page kind of thing that goes on the front of a staff report or even a separate thing, almost like a cheat sheet of this is what the current density is and zoning, this is what the proposal is, this is what the affordable percentages are, this is what the parking ratio is, this is what the open space is, this is what the roads like. All the frequent flyer kind of questions in one place that most people can look at that and be like, none of this is a concern for me, this project isn't a concern for me. Or, oh, hey, I better look further into this because this 120% doesn't do it, or this parking ratio doesn't do it. It would give us and the public an idea of understanding, is this something I should dig further into based on basic stuff?
So I know Rachel's been making lots of notes, so we can do all that. That's an internal change. It is better as a first page snapshot on your staff report. We don't have enough flexibility in the cover memo sheet. We're just very limited there. So it would be better
I
for
didn't
you.
imply that. That's
Yeah.
all. I either meant a separate attachment on all of them, or just a staple to the
Yeah.
front, the proverbial
Okay.
staple to the front of it. And I would say, since you guys talked to Commissioner Feltz anyway, she usually has a lot of the similar questions, and
Yeah.
to me, I've been here for a few years, so some of this I know where to look and stuff like, but it's easier maybe if you worked with Commissioner Feltz just to get a general idea of what that snapshot should look like. And then we can just bring back a template and everyone can approve it and it gets snapped on, because maybe there's something one of us want to see that we don't otherwise know.
So we can prepare a draft snapshot for your next briefing to show you each what it would look like, and you can tell us if there's anything missing. I just wanted to let you know it would be with the staff report. It's not going to be best served on the cover sheet. We're just too limited.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and then I have one last thing, if I may. Talking about changes to the rules of procedures would actually require a motion to the county attorney because they oversee your rules of procedures. So if you want any changes made that's been discussed today, I would recommend a motion, and I'm looking down at Sarah, or you wait for your next meeting when you have Ms. Pamela DiAgostino here and make the motion then. It's not a document staff's going to change.
I don't think anyone clarified any consensus of a motion of a change. I think that's more like, usually at the beginning of every year, which is only, we only have one more land use meeting. Two more land use meetings. Yeah, I keep thinking it's November for some reason. We only have 2 more until the new year. Every year we revisit the rules and regulations anyway. I think this is a good opportunity for people now that they have some time under their belt, meetings under their belt, to think about modifications and changes to those, and then we can just make them in a lump sum up to and including any modifications associated with continuances and otherwise.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that nothing was being done today based off the discussion.
Understood.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay. That's it, thank you.
Commissioner Feltz. I still have Commissioner Siddiq there too, but he said he
So
wanted to wait for
in
everyone.
that, what we're going to work on right now is just, it's just formalities with how the format of the cover sheet and the staff report. We're all in agreement. We'll throw something out, let the staff throw something out there, and
Well,
we'll tweak
I
it.
propose to instruct Commissioner Feltz to work with staff to
Oh.
put something together.
What? You know,
Unless
let me-
somebody disagrees with that.
Okay, the only question I have is that the other issue of contention was the continuance. Can we all agree that it would be a very good and transparent policy to the benefit of the applicant and the public, that if you want a continuance, we do deserve at least a logical explanation versus given nothing at all?
Are you asking for,
I'm asking if anybody has a problem with that.
I do,
You do or don't?
but I think this is a I personally,
if
I kind of said my piece earlier, so I'm not going to replicate it. I
Okay.
believe people have a right to present to us when they're ready to present to us, and I'm not going to require any or no explanation behind it. If they want to carry millions of dollars in land and projects and delay things and pay interest on that for months on end and then repay to re-advertise something over again, months, that's their prerogative. It's their expense that they're incurring by delaying this. It's not mine. It's no skin off my back.
Then this is
And
definitely
like
something
some of the
we'll get
ones
into
today,
later.
like some of the ones today, people imply, oh, it's because it was denied 6-0. That's why they're delaying. They're not delaying because it's denied 6-0. It's not like they're hoping for a new board. It's not like when there's continuances in October. That's a little different story. Then you're like, okay,
Well-
what game are you playing? But in that case, what you're arguing is somebody presented a project to Planning Commission, which we appointed, and I think they're doing an excellent job because they're giving a much closer eye to things than they did previously. And it got denied, and now you want to hold it against them that because we basically auto notice these things. As planning commission comes up, because sometimes they're so tight, they're getting noticed before they even know there's problems from planning commission. And what you're saying is, you got denied by planning commission, they brought up subsequent facts that were problematic, and now you want to hold it against an applicant for wanting to try to fix those problems. You also want to hold it against applicants if an attorney has a conflict, or something else comes up, or a vacation comes up. I can't remember the last time we had 7 people sitting up here. Like, we don't hold ourselves to that same. I don't remember the last time we had 7 people on a list for a planning commission meeting. Like, I can't hold it to them. So and that's my opinion. I'm not refuting your opinion. I'm not saying your opinion doesn't have validity to it. You just asked, is everyone okay with your concept? I am not.
I
I've pretty
appreciate that.
consistently said that I believe anyone can continue at their own expense anytime they want for any reason or no reason whatsoever. That's just my personal position. If 4 of you disagree, I will happily go along with you guys, and it's no skin off my back. It's not going to bother me. That's just my personal opinion.
No, I think this is exactly why I asked the question. I'd like to hear various points of view in various ways, but it's just something I think we need to establish a policy as a board. Again, all we're asking is, and yes, where I could appreciate your point of view, Commissioner Cruz, but we have to do some things that restore integrity and credibility to our process. And I don't think it's too much to ask. Just, my district went without a county commissioner for 8 months. Yeah, whatever. But did you get 2 votes? But it doesn't give you 2 votes. You still got 1 vote, equal anyway. And we never had, I would challenge anyone to tell me how many continuances were granted because there wasn't a full board. And we went without a district commissioner in my district for 8 months. It didn't seem to bother anybody. But it bothers us now because we didn't have an effective voice, because we're trying to be more transparent. We're trying to be fairer to both. You hear me? I mean, listen, the applicants and the constituents and the public are all my constituents now. We are trying to make things fair so that it relieves the issues with it. When you have citizens that are trying to follow this all along, that starts off with a little yellow sign with hieroglyphics on it 2 years ago, and you keep moving these dates up, it's a burden on them. And we're just trying to be fair. And so if somebody wants, I have all the grace in the world, but we have to ask for it. Don't we have to acknowledge that it exists and ask for it and do that professionally? And that's what I want to give them the opportunity to do. And I think the policy has to be set by the board as a whole, so we're all in agreement, and we see this as a positive thing. Thank you.
Do you agree that all commissioners then who miss any meetings or work sessions should be required publicly to state their reasoning for missing every single meeting?
Themselves in public.
I'm just saying, it's an honest question. If we're
What?
talking transparency here, I mean, we haven't had
What's the-
7 people. I've conducted entire joint meetings by myself with municipalities with 6 people not attending, and I didn't even know they weren't even attending. But I
We
didn't
had-
ask people publicly to explain themselves to
We
me.
have some
That's their
amazing
right.
ways to get, I mean, look, we didn't expect Tal to be here, and it was like a voice from God. See, we could get through those things.
Okay.
I have no trouble saying where I am or what's going on or why I would miss a meeting. The other thing is, too, it doesn't take much for them to say, attorney unavailable, applicant unavailable, engineer unavailable. Those are understandable things. But we did have a guy up here in a Milwaukee Brewers shirt today that said, well, we got denied, so, we want to continue this. And, I don't know that a denial is a, valid reason for continuing this, because, again, it's a second bite of the apple. And the thing is that, they were already scheduled, and, maybe we have a problem with scheduling. Maybe we're automatically scheduling people that shouldn't be scheduled. Maybe they should actually ask to be put on the schedule. That way, we wouldn't have that problem.
point, because they have 30 days from the denial at the Planning Commission before it comes before the board. If you're at a denial, I'd like to take 60 days so I could go back to the drawing board, so I could maybe meet with the people that were expressing opposition to it and maybe get their minds changed or tweak your program or something like that. I don't think giving a 60-day extension after somebody's been denied by the Planning Commission is, as long as they do something productive with it and don't just try and come back with the same thing. I mean, we want to see them work with us. So I don't feel badly if somebody needs a 60-day extension after a Planning Commission denial, but if it goes on into 90 and 120 days and there's been absolutely no change from, or learning why did they get denied, what can they do to make it approved, then I'm kind of like, you know, are you really trying?
I think right now, though, the issue is we don't have, and hold on, Ms. Epp, are you still on board, or
No,
did
it's-
you put yourself back on the board?
It's to address accuracy of statements made.
Okay, but just real quick, I see, yeah.
Regarding public hearing advertising notices.
Okay,
that's
go
all.
ahead, go ahead.
100% of the time, when we advertise for the Planning Commission, we also advertise for the board. So the moment an agenda item or an applicant is heard at the Planning Commission, their board date's already been determined. So if they did, even if they got a recommendation for approval, but they still wanted to make changes to the plans that were non-substantial, meet with the residents, whatever that might be, they're already locked into your board date. So they have to ask for continuance if they want more than 2 weeks of wiggle room. We only have about 2 weeks for them to do anything that's modified, non-substantial, or have a neighborhood meeting before we have an agenda deadline. So they're really not given 30 or 60 days unless they ask for another continuance beyond what we've already advertised for.
Thank you. Commissioner Beard.
And they don't select their
Oh.
hearing dates. They don't select their hearing dates. We select their hearing dates based off who's in line next to go for staff report, legal review, comes back from legal, and whose sufficiency review deadlines are about to expire with the state. They don't select their dates unless they say, I'm not available, then we push them out.
Commissioner Beard.
So my opinion on this matter is that whether or not it gets represented, I still have to hear exactly what they're going to present to me, and either I'm going to approve or deny, period, right? I do think that, you know, it would be helpful for the applicant to give reasons why in regards to why they want a continuance, and maybe we should give it to the option of making it optional, right? So if they don't fill anything out on this sheet, then we know, hey, these guys weren't willing to put why, the reasons why they, you know, want an extension, right? And anybody up here, when they come up to present their case during a land use meeting, why didn't you put any options? And we hold them accountable to that, right? So I think maybe we leave it optional. Give them the option whether they want to explain, whether or not, you know, they want to put down why they are trying to request an extension. And if they don't put that information in there, then, you know, that's on them, right? Maybe we need to do that.
I think that's very valid. I mean, we're doing that right now with neighborhood meetings. They're voluntary, but people up here on this board have asked very pointed questions with real reason behind it. And if someone just says, I chose not to do one, that's taken into consideration. So if somebody
Correct.
asks for a continuance and then comes back the next meeting, you know, it could say right on that, on the staff report,
Yep.
you know, continuance is granted, no reason given, and that's just another piece of narrative and information that this board can use when making final decisions. So-
But they are going to know, based on the temperature of this board, that they may get a, you know, a no vote if, you know, a commissioner doesn't see that sheet that he wants to see. It's nothing against the applicant, it's just the temperature of the actual commissioner that's,
looking, when he's evaluating to cast his vote.
So it's not required, it's just strongly encouraged.
Strongly encouraged. There
Well,
you go.
No, we can make some requirements. We can do some as requirements. The other thing, and Nicole, please correct me as I go along with this, but when we put these, here we go back to my little yellow signs. When we put these signs out, when we put the signs out, and it usually has the Planning Commission meeting on it, right? And it puts the BOCC date on it too. Okay, in the real world, here's what happens. I know that maybe people that are in other districts don't see as many little yellow signs out there as we've grown to know and love. But the problem is, and we've been working on this for a long time, and I hold the public responsible if they don't partake. But we're going to do it the right way. So when those little yellow signs go out, they have both the date of the Planning Commission and the date of the BOCC hearing, right? They're both printed on the same sign at the same time. Now, if you're Joe Blow in the neighborhood, you see the Planning Commission sign, maybe you go, maybe you don't go, maybe you watch, maybe you make a public comment, maybe you send any email or anything. But you know that date that says when the BOCC meeting is? Never changes.
Correct.
Never
Legally,
changes.
it doesn't have to legally.
Right.
As long as you
Because-
continue the public hearing,
Right.
you've provided the notice.
Right, so that little sign stays the same. So, Joe Neighbor, and this is just practical, law is law, but in practical application, I look at a cow pasture, it says public hearing is June 5th, BOCC meeting is August 5th. August 5th comes along, there's a continuance, that's all I know, until we publish. The sign doesn't change. The sign doesn't change. So we've got signs out there that say, this was already heard by the Planning Commission, this is already heard, as far as they know, it's already heard by the BOCC. So it's not as good as we can do for everyone. And really, 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 this does not help our applicants either. Because then everybody comes back with, all of a sudden there was a condominium built, and no, there wasn't. This has a process, this has a procedure. We just don't do that good a job at maybe we shouldn't be putting that date for the BOCC meeting on the sign until we know when the BOCC meeting's gonna be. It doesn't serve any purpose if you put it down just because it fits the schedule in 30 days, and they keep asking for continuances. Your sign now is a big piece of useless information for the most part. So if there's a continuance, you don't understand how much it kind of mucks up the works. But I'm glad we're having the conversation. I don't think we need to beat the dead horse, because I'll be talking to you ladies later, I'm sure. But
Right.
I would appreciate everybody kind of getting their input to the staff so that we can come up with something, because I always end up holding the bag on this.
Will do. All right. No one else on the board for comments except for Commissioner Sadiq. So Commissioner Sadiq, why don't you see us off?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll echo your comments and Commissioner Bearden's comments on the continuances. Now, I hadn't obviously attended on being here today. I'm heading out to the Advanced County Commissioner class today in Gainesville. But when I saw the conversation around continuances, it had echoes of the final plat. So, here's what I have to say on it. I'll borrow Commissioner McCann's words. I'm against the overregulation on continuances. I mean, this conversation is a little bit interesting in where we're going. Now we have some people looking to do roundabout denials of projects. Now we're fighting them over continuances. I think this board deserves to hear a full project. The applicants are paying for their projects to be presented before us and re-advertised, and we ought to give them the grace, as Commissioner Bearden said, to be heard. It doesn't guarantee an approval or a denial, but it guarantees that people will show up and speak on the issue, and we'll be able to evaluate this in front of them. I mean, people don't care about this. Literally nobody showed up or dialed in to talk about continuances. They would rather focus on the projects themselves. So I think in so much as we can, it's a very thoughtful approach to ask, I don't know how hard you need to require it, but if we do, we do, that applicants do submit some reasoning for why they want a continuance. As far as the Planning Commission denials are concerned, again, it's an advisory board. You can ignore them or not. And I'm not going to hold my decision on the basis of what the Planning Commission is saying. I think we all have different perspectives. It's important to recognize that. And so it's good that we have their yes or no or whatever outcome that they come to, but we make the final decision. That's how I see it at the end of the day. As far as the item on the Marine Corps Ball, I vetted that with the county clerk, the county attorney, and literally almost everybody voted yes on the public finding component of that item. So either this is a tacit admission that some commissioners don't read agenda items and just vote on them, or that something just caused you to flop your vote. Either way, I ran on a platform of ethics, and having gone through multiple conversations with the attorney on this item, making some changes based on their recommendation, and of course, vetting things with the clerk because we have a great relation. I have a great relationship with her. I felt pretty confident in bringing that item forward. And I think we're going to do great things for veterans in our communities and highlight the services that we offer. That sometimes it gets a little bit more difficult to advertise if you're not going out there and where the people and veterans are. As far as the misinformation about the simulated gambling devices ordinance is concerned, no. We have full home rule authority, and it was very clear in my agenda item that this is an ordinance that has not been challenged successfully because it is lawful in Marion County, but that our attorney and sheriff and staff are certainly going to review it to see if any recent changes in gambling laws will affect the outcome. I don't think so. So I appreciate the board's support on that one. I look forward to the conversation on it. And again, I think it's going to be very impactful for us in the urban core of Manatee County. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other commissioner comments? Seeing none, without objection, we are adjourned. right, you all good? Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, October 7th, and this is a regular meeting of the Manatee County Board of County Commissioners. We will get started with the agenda, but before we do, we will start as we do all things with an invocation and the pledge. Today's invocation will be led by Pastor Kyle Guyman of the First Baptist Church of Bradenton, and our pledge will be led by our own Melissa Bomar. Good to see you, Melissa. Please rise if you're able.
Good morning. Let us pray. Father, we thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to serve you in this capacity. God, we thank you for your love, for your forgiveness. God, for giving us your salvation. God, I pray that as we do our work today, it would be for your glory, that our agendas would be put aside, God, and that you would receive all the glory for everything that's done. Pray that the words of our mouth and the meditations of our heart will be pleasing in your sight, O Lord, our rock and our redeemer. And it's in the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Deputy County Administrator DePaul, are there any updates to the agenda?
Good morning. All updates were published with the online agenda, and additional public comment was received after publishing for item 57, discussion regarding naming road after Charlie Kirk. That's all.
All right. Thank you. And we will now move on to awards and presentations. We'll start with the presentation of the Team Member of the Month for October 2025.
Dan Thomas, Manatee County Deputy Director of ITS. Commissioners, Deputy County Administrator, County Attorney, thank you for this opportunity to allow us to recognize Nick Patel, a team member whose work impacts uniquely all Manatee County employees, as well as the clerk and MSO. His support for our critical systems around payroll and on-base are critical to what we do. I will pass the baton to his senior manager, Larry Cole.
Thank you, Dan. I'm Larry Colbert. I'm ITS Senior Manager. I am one of the managers over the Applications and Development Division of IT. And it's my pleasure to be here and present to Nick his Team Member of the Month award. And Nick, you want to step up here with me? So it's an auspicious occasion when this many IT people are pulled out into the sunlight. It doesn't happen very often. And Nick, did you ever think this would happen to us?
No, I don't think so.
I thought it would happen at some point, so here we are. So I'm actually super pleased to be here and present this to you. This is the Team Member of the Month award for you, and the certificate for you. There you go. I've known Nick the entire 13 years he's been with the county. And it's been a great deal of work and a great deal of fun with Nick being part of our team. I feel we have a very unique and close-knit community in our area and in IT. A lot of times folks don't know that we're there. If things are going good, they shouldn't know we're there, right? IT work often involves long hours, off-cycle hours, working on holidays and things like that. And Nick has always risen to the occasion and gone above and beyond in that regard. He's one of the reasons that we, as we say in IT, you've got to keep the spice flowing. So he does that with great aplomb and diplomacy. He's technically extremely gifted. He works on a lot of major systems. He works on projects, he works on incidents and service requests, and he mentors so many people throughout the county. He has a tremendous amount of business knowledge that he's acquired over the years, and he shares that with everybody whenever they ask. Just recently, we were able to migrate the One Solution platform to Finance Enterprise, which was a huge effort for involving the agencies and all sorts of folks in our department. And Nick was leading the charge for us. Mostly for most of you, probably behind the scenes, but he's there. He's an institution with us, and I feel blessed to have worked with him over these years. One of the things that people don't realize about Nick is his tremendous sense of humor that helps the morale where we are. He likes to, as I say, instigate things and leave a comment and then watch and see what happens, you know. So if you get a chance to look at the iNet picture of Nick, I think if you literally look at that picture, I said, he's chuckling. That's Nick. So we're glad to have you here, Nick. And I was going to see if we could bring up his direct managers, Keith Monroe and Chris Sullivan, for say a quick word.
Sure. Yeah, that was a surprise. Yeah, we as you can see, we appreciate Nick very much. He's the type of employee that makes everybody's job easier, and we appreciate that very much. So thank you.
All right, Nick, the floor is yours.
Good morning. I sincerely appreciate the time for the board to recognize this award. And I want to thank the IT senior leadership and my coworkers who's here to recognize me and my work. This is not it's an IT as a whole that we work together from all the projects from CSC to our GIS team, our networking team, our application development team, and especially with our customers, clerk's office and the sheriff's office. We work with them on projects, not just finance, payroll projects, upgrading them, and we're building a network with them. I mean, relationship with them, that's a key part of this. And it's all our entire IT team. We work on this project. Our PMO team, Pam, was working on this, for example, the Finance Enterprise Upgrade Project, which was an entire county together working and testing different modules, because Finance Enterprise is an ERP system which involves 30-40 interfaces over the county with the utilities department, with the clerk's office, and the sheriff. So we're working on that project right now with the clerk, and we're going to upgrade clerk and be MSO later during this year. And appreciate it, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, the whole IT team, I mean, Nick, you're being held out as the award winner, but all of you have done an amazing job. When we did every month, myself and the county administrator and some other staff go to make these awards, and we walked into a training session for IT, anyone in that room could have gotten it. They knew what we were there for. We're literally holding a mug that said Employee of the Month. It wasn't very secret. But you've all done a great job. I've been here for 5 years, and the exponential growth and improvement in our IT and efficiency is just astronomical. I couldn't have predicted where we'd be now 5 years ago, from our GIS systems to how we handle on-base and agendas to, even our most recent with the new AI with Cortez on the website. I mean, it's a world of difference from back in the day in 2020, 2021. And that's all a testament to how hard you're all working to come up with efficiencies for our staff and, more importantly, efficiencies for all the residents in Manatee County. So thank you all, but congratulations, Nick.